दोस्तों, इस क्लास में आपको डिक्टेशन प्रोवाइड करूंगा मैं 80 WPM पर SSC और DSSSB के लिए जो स्पेशल मैंने मैटर तैयार किए हैं उसकी आपको डिक्टेशन प्रोवाइड कर रहा हूं 80 WPM पर। बी रेडी फॉर इट। We have given a head to provincial regimes in the matter of education, and today I regret to say within a very short time they have taken the bit between their teeth and are running wild. What is happening in the central provinces? When I say this, I say advisedly that the educational policy of the central provinces represents a deliberate negation of democracy, represents a travesty of the provisions of secular democracy. The linguistic minorities in the central provinces only look forward to educational and linguistic death. That is what is happening. They have no regard for the linguistic minorities. Overnight, they are pursuing an intolerant, parochial, aggressive linguistic policy which, as I said, is an absolute negation of every provision we have embodied in the fundamental rights. Not only that, you have given a head to these provinces and they are running amok. National progress, the larger interests of the country mean nothing to them. My own conviction is that a few years will be sufficient to make the leaders of the country realize the great blunder that we have committed in allowing education to remain entirely in the provincial sphere. You will see balkanization of the country will take place so quickly because through this powerful lever which you have left in the hands of the provinces, they will split this country up into linguistic enclaves, seal one from the other, so that the idea of a common nationality will recede more and more into the background. I feel very strongly about this. I do not know how the damage that is going to be done can be undone unless some radical steps are taken in the not distant future. Another matter which I would have liked to have brought at least in the concurrent list is health. May I say, sir, in some provinces it is all right. Bombay is fortunate in having a person of the stature of Khairji. The country would have been more fortunate to have transported outstanding men from the provinces to the center to administer the country on a unitary basis. As I said about health, we have left it in the hands of the provincial governments, and inevitably this greatest nation building subject will be dealt with in a feeble, halting manner according to the different capacities of the different provincial regimes. Last but not least, I should like to have seen police made central subject. Police in a province like Bombay have a deservedly good reputation. But let us be honest. What kind of reputation or lack of reputation do the police administrations in many of the provinces enjoy? What does the man in the street think of the police regimes in many of the provinces? I know what he thinks. You know what he thinks. The police have fallen into disrepute in many of the provinces. They are not regarded as guardians of law and order, but as agencies of corruption and oppression. I should like very much to have been the police administration at least brought on to the concurrent list. May I say a word about the directive principles? I know my honorable friend Mr. Kher will not agree with what I say, and my views will be regarded as heterodox and as perhaps striking a discordant note. I would not like to have seen prohibition put in the directive principles. I am not advocating the cause of drunkards or drunkenness. Far from it. I think prohibition as an ideal is a very good ideal. But what I am afraid of is having put this into the directive principles, once again you are giving a head to certain provinces which, without considering the realities, may rush ahead with this scheme. I am one of those who regard it probably from a rationalistic point of view or from the point of view of a psychologist. I regard this question of prohibition fundamentally as a psychological problem. I believe that there is a fundamental similarity in human nature everywhere, and that an Indian is no different in certain fundamentals from a European. I believe that essentially legislation in this matter has tended to be resented and regarded as an entrenchment on the domain of private life and private liberty. As I was trying to explain to my honorable friend Mr. Kher, will you be able to legislate for morality? Can you create morality through legislation? You can ever do it. It has never been possible. I agree. You may be able to wean certain people from drinking, provided your process and program of prohibition was so graduated and you accompanied it pari passu with measures of social reform. As long as you have your chawals for workers in the urban areas and you cannot even provide them with a semblance of decent living conditions, what is the good of trying to make them moral or weaning them from drunkenness by legislation? Stop. दोस्तों इसी के साथ ये डिक्टेशन फिनिश होती है। बहुत अच्छी डिक्टेशन है, उम्मीद है आप लोगों ने इसे अच्छे से लिखा होगा। पूरा टाइम लीजिए, आराम से रीडिंग कीजिए, उसके बाद इस मैटर को लिखिए, टाइप कीजिए। टाइप करने के बाद आपकी मिस्टेक्स कितनी आ रही हैं कमेंट सेक्शन में ज़रूर बताइएगा। उससे ये पता चलता है कि ये जो मैटर्स हैं उसमें आपका लेवल अभी कहाँ तक है। आपसे मुलाकात करूँगा अगली क्लास में अगली ट्रांसक्रिप्शन के साथ। तब तक के लिए बाय बाय, टेक केयर।